You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
I had the distinct pleasure and opportunity of hosting. Thank you for the thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me. Had the distinct pleasure and opportunity to host 2000 Olympian Lauren Meese in my dojo last night for the second time. And most individuals in the world, especially in the United States, don't have an opportunity to have two Olympians on the mat or multiple Olympians on the mat at the same time. And it's a quality experience, not only for myself, but for the practitioners as well. And at the end of class, one of the students asked Lauren, who made the Olympic team at 17, I think she made it at 17, Rhonda made it at 16, I think Nikki Cubes made it at like 16, 17. They're all within like 9 months of each other. Some of the youngest Olympians in judo that we've had in the United States. Somebody asked her what training was like. And if we were at a Great American Teach-In or talking to some kids at a school, we tell the people how wonderful the experience was, and we learned a lot about ourselves and about our character. But she's in the dojo, so she gave a real answer. She said it was hell. She said it felt like hell. And I wanted to give the children some perspective and to give some of you all some perspective that somebody who makes the Olympic team at 16, 17 has been working for about 10 to 12 years at a high level. Now, a lot of people watch my man Herman Velasco from Kitsusai train his kid, and sometimes I hear feedback of how he's going too hard or he's putting too much pressure on his kid. Well, here's the thing. You don't have forever to do it. You only go around one time. You do it right and you make it, or you do it right and you miss it, but you know you did it right. Or you don't do it at all, and then you talk trash about the people who are doing it. So here's the deal. Grant Cardone wrote a book a little while ago that wasn't really scientific, but anecdotal in a sense. However, the theme of the book was right on time. And the book that he wrote was called 10X. And what he said was, no matter what you're doing, you need to do 10 times more than what you're doing in order to get the result that you're looking for. Because whatever you think that you need to be successful, you need 10 times more than that. And I say that because people are disillusioned by what hard work is. They're disillusioned by what it takes to actually be the best. They're disillusioned about what it takes to be the best in the world. They're disillusioned about what investment is required. And they whine. They spend more time whining and crying and complaining than they do working. They whine and they cry and they complain. Now let me say this, because I am part of the whining nation too. I am not immune to whining. I am not immune to crying. I need coaching too when I begin that bullshit. All right, I need somebody to slap me back into place. As a matter of fact, I was on a call with one of my boys yesterday, my business partner, Coach Arlo, and he had to help me recalibrate myself and recalibrate my thinking on a couple of issues that I have, because Sometimes when stuff starts going bad, you start to, now listen to the word I'm going to use, you start to appreciate that thing, meaning you increase its value. You increase its value in your life when it shouldn't have as much value as you're giving it. And we give the stress and the pressure more value than we do the process. The stress and the pressure is par for the course, and it is par for the experience. The stress and the pressure is how it goes. And sometimes God is preparing you for a thing or a season or a situation that you need the the mental, spiritual, and character weightlifting for in order to be ready for the thing that He's going to deliver later. And because pain is an aversive thing, and it's something that we don't want to do, we don't want to create an uncomfortable situation for ourselves because we like comfort. And because we like comfort, we end up cheating ourselves of our blessings because we can't have what we want without the suffering. And it's not just biblical, it's it's truthful. Like everything that you want requires an investment, and every investment requires you to go into the negative. Even if it's monetarily or even if it's emotionally, you have to go into the negative. You have to deal. You have to dig the hole in order to plant the seed. And everybody wants to run around talking about they want the seed. Even preachers, oh, we need seed money. We need seed. We need somebody sow a seed and give a seed. But everybody wants the seed. Everybody wants to get involved in the seeding process. But man, nobody want to dig that hole, buddy. Nobody want to dig that hole. Listen, the hole must be dug. The hole must be dug. Nobody wants to go in the hole in order to be successful. And you cannot be successful unless you're willing to dig the hole. Now, what does this mean? What am I talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked. The digging of the hole is the work that has to be done before any fruit has been brought to fruition. The work has to be done. The hole has to be dug. Then a seed has to be acquired and planted. And then dirt has to go over the seed. And then manure and fertilizer has to go over the dirt. And then the seasons have to come. The wind, the rain, and the water have to come over the particular thing. And then the working and the husbanding of the garden has to continue. And there's no fruit available. There's only work. And if the work stops, then the fruit does not bear itself. See, and this is the problem. We have grown up in a society where we get in a car and we go to a grocery store and we believe that that is the way that we acquire food. Hmm? No, the growth of food or the growth of fruit or the growth of the nourishment or the growth of the thing that we want that's going to nourish us physically, spiritually, and emotionally requires a boatload of work. Now, let me dive into the modern day thing because my daughter likes watching this show with me. I don't like it, but I need to spend time with her doing something that she likes. She likes to watch this show, Selling Tampa. And I'm watching this show, Selling Tampa. Don't get me caught up in this foolishness in the name of Jesus. So I'm watching this show, Selling Tampa, and this woman on the show is going through a divorce, and she says, I'm getting divorced because the marriage that I want is not the marriage that I have. Excuse me, ma'am? Ain't nobody cussing you? Ain't nobody beating on you? Ain't nobody defaulting on no payments? Ain't nobody credit score in 400, 500? Ain't nobody calling you out your name? She said, the marriage I want is not the marriage I have. Modern day science, as it pertains to performance and enhancement and development, dictates a 10,000 hour rule. That's modern day science, so it's not really scientific yet. But in most sports or most realms, especially you can even take it over into law, Counselor Clay, it takes a good 8 to 10 years in order to get good at a thing. You go to school for 4 years, 4 to 5 years undergrad, then you go to school for a advanced degree, sometime between 3 and 5 years, and that prepares you in that 8 to 10 year trade. That prepares you for the critical thinking, the undergirding that is necessary for the next level of achievement. And then you get into your profession, and inside of your profession, you learn the nuances of performance or becoming good within the profession. And that also takes another 8 to 10. So you grow up in a household of married people, and you learn how married people operate, undergirding. Or you grow up in a household with people who are not married, and you understand how people who are not married operate, undergirding. And then you move into a relationship phase, and then you're either critically thinking about how to stay together or how to function as Jesus, watch yourself, or how to function as an individual, not understanding that interdependence is the highest functioning level of relationships and independence is low level. The children start out as they come out of the womb, they start out as being dependent. And then there's a level of codependency where the parent needs the child needs the parent. They want to agree or not. And then through the parenting process, and the parents struggle in this phase during the codependency phase. Parents struggle in terms of how to help their child become more independent. And then there's this time period from the age of 5 to around 13 where there's a struggle, especially in the marital home, of how I need to push this child towards independence, and it changes depending on if you have a boy or a girl, and it changes on the strength of the voice of the man and the woman in the household, and they struggle. And I watch this thing because I coach inside of a dojo, and I receive the fruits of the labor process, if you will, from the parents, and I see the struggle that occurs in terms of developing an independent individual. But in that independence, in the sporting realm, I have to teach them, as much as you need to come to this thing and be independent, there's also a level of achieving something at a high level that you cannot do by yourself. This is why biblically it says a threefold cord is not easily broken. This is why you have the law of the one, the two, and the three. This is why the Bible talks about how can two walk together unless they agree. So there's some agreement that you have to come into in order to be able to work with someone else. They say you want to go fast, go what? You go alone. You want to go far, you go what? You go together. Why? Because you need some help. So what happens in today's society is people believe that they don't need any help. And when you're doing good, you don't need any help. But herein lies the struggle, and herein lies the trick of the enemy when you feel like you could do it by yourself. Man, I've won a lot of stuff, didn't win it by myself. I lost a lot of stuff too, didn't lose it by myself, because everybody needs some help. Now, why do I talk about this? I'm taking it all the way back to the beginning of the suffering. If you plant the seed in the ground, what's going on, Professor Ryan? If you plant the seed in the ground and you put the dirt back on it, and you've done the formidable work in the beginning, you've done the foundational work in the beginning, you've done the rudiments of the planting process in the beginning. If you do all those particular things and you husband the garden and you wait, but then you get frustrated, Jesus, because you don't see any growth, you will walk away from that particular situation because you believe that you have suffered enough. And as soon as you walk away from the situation, from the training, from the studying, from the book, from the audio book, from the course, from the relationship, from the negotiation table, as soon as you walk away because you believe that you are wasting your time, you will miss the groundbreaking that is getting ready to happen because the growth was happening during the struggle. Now, why do I say that? Because the struggle is the way. The struggle is the way. One of my favorite, and I'm going to get off here because I got to get to the house, but I want to say this. One of my favorite sports at the Olympics, all right, is 110-meter hurdles, all right? And I'm going to tell you why. And I've talked to David Oliver about this, who's the head coach at Howard University, world champion in hurdles. And I've talked to my friend and my frat brother Terrence Trammell, two-time Olympic silver medalist, 110-meter hurdles, who ran a sub 10 100 meters. The person who wins the hurdles is not the fastest person on the track. Your foot speed is necessary to do well in the hurdles. Your foot speed is not the determining factor for winning the hurdles. Jesus, watch yourself now. Your foot speed is necessary to do well in the hurdles. Your foot speed is not the determining factor to winning the hurdles. What's the determining factor to winning the hurdles, Dr. Ferguson? I'm glad you asked. Your determining factor of winning the hurdles is being an expert hurdler. Jesus, watch yourself. How do I become an expert hurdler? I become an expert getting over the obstacles, because that's what it is, an expert of getting over the obstacles. I become an expert of getting over the obstacles by practicing getting over. Jesus, watch yourself. By practicing getting over obstacles. Now, if David Oliver or Terrence Trammell right now today line up on the track to run a 110-meter hurdle race right now, they will not finish without hitting one of those hurdles. Highly unlikely. Why? Because they are not practicing getting over those obstacles like they were before. And what you don't realize is that you must either have a coach or someone manufacture the hurdles or obstacles in your life, or you must accept every problem or situation or thing that causes long suffering to be an opportunity to practice getting to the finish line. If you do the research, in terms of the hurdles, do you want to know the hurdle that is hit the least? Hurdle number 3 is hit the least. Hurdle number 1 is hit a lot. Hurdles number 8, 9, and 10, my dear friends, problems. Some people hit a hurdle in the beginning, don't finish. Some people don't hit a hurdle in the beginning and things seem like they're easy. And then when they get hard, they're done. Because they're not expert hurdlers. They're experts at falling. Jesus God. They're experts at falling down and quitting. Here's what I want to say to you today, especially those of you who are parents, okay? Because my children suffer from something called affluence, all right? My children live a good life. Their parents live a decent life. I mean, I struggle because I create a struggle so I can struggle because there are things that I want to do, the things that I want to have, the things that I believe that I need. So I buy the last seat on the struggle bus and I get on there and I ride. Like last night I was on the map. I put myself on the struggle bus last night on the map because I need to struggle. I need to suffer. You all who are parenting, you all do not allow your children to suffer. Your children need to suffer. I don't want my child to suffer. Honey, your child got to suffer. Your child has to suffer. I say this all the time inside my dojo. Listen, abuse, ab, the Latin for ab, ab means outside of use. If you're doing something that's outside of the use of your child, it's abusive. I got beatings. I got spankings. I got beaten with an extension cord, belt, shoe. Got hit in the head with a Royal Crown grease can. I got all of that happening. And somebody asked me, well, you think it was abusive? Do I think it was outside the use of what I needed at the time? No, I don't. Do I condone it? No, I don't. Is it for everybody? No, it's not. Did I need it personally? Yeah, I did. Am I built a little bit differently? You damn right. And I'm okay with it. My children can't take that level of heat. They cannot. I will not. That for my children that would be abusive. Let me tell you what they can do though. They can get up early in the morning. They can fold them clothes. They can wash them dishes. They can run the vacuum. They can read the books. They can get on that Khan Academy. They can get on that IXL. They can give me them book reports. They can define them words that they don't know in the book. That way they can do push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. You go to the gym. You can turn your little fancy iPhone watch on and give me the 3-4 miles in the morning. You understand what I'm saying? You can go to the dojo, help run the business, help teach the class, keep the bathroom in the place clean, take the trash out to the garbage. You could do these. You could do this. All these things you can do, huh? And those things are not abusive. They're not outside of use. They need to learn. I'm pushing them to become independent, understanding that if you couple yourself with somebody and you don't do these particular things that you seem unnecessary, then you will not be able to be interdependent. And what I'm telling you is that thing takes work. Do not remove the labor. Do not remove the difficult times. Do not remove the difficult situations. Do not remove the suffering from your children. You hear me say it all the time, and I will say it again. There is no championship ring without the suffering.